Kidding? Just one shot?
They're not all zombies, Doug. How do you fight this thing?
Maybe we could drown it in A1 sauce.
Well, sometimes that is better. The person you put up there ain't the person that comes back.
It's a dance song to get down with. About 6 feet under. Get there.
Ooh, I love this song. I'm hung up in a grave situation.
And now we come to the thrilling final episode of our radio drama.
Hello and welcome to episode 195 of the Rotten Views podcast. Thank you everyone for showing up to this episode. If you're a new listener, if you're a returning listener, I appreciate it so much. And yeah, just thank you for showing up. We are actually recording this one like a day after recording the last week's episode, just because I'm taking full advantage of this long weekend. And yeah, I'm just getting as much content done as possible. We did a live stream for Texas Chainsaw Massacre yesterday, which was a lot of fun. That's probably going to be chopped up to the Wednesday gaming video from last week, or maybe this week. I'm not sure yet. We're still playing some other games, recording some other videos, so I'm not sure where the gaming videos are going to land yet, but we have a bunch of other videos set up as well, so definitely go check that out on the YouTube channel. The links are down in the description below. But before we get into that stuff too much, let's do a little bit of housekeeping here. If you guys could follow all my social media links, or whatever, any social media link, whatever you want. Essentially what I'm saying is you can find me on all social media links or social media sites at Typhon Sun. Links are down below, but you can find me on Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok. But the main thing that we have that we've been pushing the most is the YouTube channel, where we have old episodes of the podcast going up every week. We have the weekly gaming video that drops every single Wednesday. We got live streams over there. We got community posts. We have shorts. It's a lot of content, and we've just been pushing out a lot of content, and I'm going to plan on keep on doing it because I'm having a lot of fun doing it. We just had a video, organic views for Smiling Friends blow up over on TikTok as well. I think it was like 1,600 views in the first like 8 hours. So that's pretty crazy. I guess if you guys like Smiling Friends, I'll do more Smiling Friends drawings. But I do have a lot of artwork planned. I just started releasing some more of my What If cartoon mashup pieces. I re-released my Fred Flintstone mixed with Space Ghost Coast to Coast piece. That's got a lot of views as well. So we're going to keep on doing that series because that's just a lot of comedic fun. And we have a couple other series that I am working on that are hopefully going to be dropping one piece a week. But we'll see. I don't want to get too many things on my workload platter as it is, because I already do the Lunchbox Art Surprise series for my daughter, where I do a single drawing a day for her lunchbox, which she doesn't see until she's at school. And then we have the Danny DeVito series. We have the Super Mario mashup series, and who knows what else might be in between there. So we'll see what happens. Also, the last little piece of house cleaning or housework or whatever you want to call it. If you guys do want to purchase any energy powder or whatnot, make sure to use the promo code Rotten Views at checkout to save yourself 10%. Saves you a little bit, saves me a little bit. We'll work together here, okay? Let's both save each other a little bit. I'm horrible at doing like promos and stuff like that, but it is what it is. At least it's organic, right? As well, if you're listening to the podcast on Spotify, please give it a star review. I'm not going to ask for 5 stars. I'm not going to ask for a certain amount of stars. Just give it whatever amount of stars you want to, and I appreciate it. And hit that share button. That share button means a lot. It actually does go a long way of helping push the podcast up a little bit higher in the algorithm. And I know that's what everything is all about. It's all about the algorithm and trying to get your videos or your content out to more eyes. And I'm trying to do it as organic as possible, because I really do not want to pay for the boost post and all that other weird crap that's on every social media site that you go on. I don't know why you would want your your TikTok or your tweet boost it, but it is what it is, I guess, just to try and... Anyways, that's no offense to anyone that does pay for it. If that's what you guys want to do, that's what you guys want to do. I know I'm going on a little bit of tangent here. Every time I post something, I'm tired of seeing a big thing pop up saying, hey, you want booster views? Click this and pay this amount of money. I don't want to. I'm already trying to make money as it is. I'm not trying to spend money. But I know you guys spend money to make money. So it works hand in hand, I guess. But yeah, if you're listening to the podcast on anything that has a review rating or a star rating or whatever it might be, if you can leave a review, that'd be awesome. If you could hit that share button, that means a lot as well. And feel free to tag me at Typhonstein in any of the posts. I'd love to see it, and I appreciate it. Now let's try and get this intro back on track, because we need to. I still haven't had enough coffee in my system yet, to be honest with you guys. For anyone who's new, this podcast, I pick a movie. It started as just strictly horror movies, but now we got comedy, action. We're gonna have a bunch of different style movies and maybe even TV shows on at some point. But I start talking about the movie from start to finish and hit all the points in between. So this is one of your first warnings that if you don't want to be spoiled on a movie that came out in 1998, feel free to pause this episode soon and go watch the movie. You can find it for free on Tubi, so there's no complaints there. It's a free streaming app. You got the occasional commercials, but that's not that big of a deal, and it's only an hour and 22-minute movie, so it's a pretty quick watch. But yeah, I'd just like to get that out there before we get too deep into the podcast, and I might forget. I forget a lot of things. It does happen. But like I said, today's movie is from 1998. It's an hour and 22 minutes long. It's a dirty work, and it's, I believe, the first and only directorial debut of Bob Saget. The description, as read on Tubi: Mitch and Sam need to raise $50,000 for Sam's dad's heart transplant. Out of work and out of options, the two open a revenge for hire business. Starring Norm Macdonald, Jack Warden, and Artie Lang. Directed by Bob Saget. So like I said, this movie is directed by Bob Saget, and I'm sure everyone just knows him as being Danny Tanner for 192 episodes of Full House. He was also Jessica's dad in Dumb and Dumberer, When Harry Met Lloyd, from 2003. I also didn't check out the Dumb and Dumber cartoon yet. I totally forgot about it. But then again, it's only been 24 hours since I mentioned it, so I'm also sure everyone remembers him as being the host for America's Funniest Home Videos. I used to love that show growing up as a kid. I don't watch it anymore now because I just find the videos aren't entertaining. Then again, I just find most modern entertainment not entertaining, to be honest with you guys. And one that I know some people probably know is he's the narrator for How I Met Your Mother for 205 episodes. He also has some very dirty stand-up comedy acts, and if you don't know them, you should definitely go check them out. Just putting that out there. This movie also features 3 different writers. We're going to talk about 2 of them now. We're going to talk about the third one in the actor portion, because he's also the lead actor in this. The first one we're going to talk about is Frank Sebastiano. I'm assuming I didn't butcher that last name, but I probably did. He's a writer for apparently 168 episodes of Saturday Night Live. He was also the writer for The Late Show with David Letterman for 893 episodes. Holy damn. He was also the writer for 2006 Beer League, which I've never even heard of before. The other writer we're going to talk about is Fred Wolf, which I'm assuming a lot of people know. He's the writer for 2001's Joe Dirt. He was the writer for 2010's Grown Ups. He was the writer for 2008's The House Bunny. And he was also working on the script and continuity department for 1995 Tommy Boy. That's such a damn good movie. He also apparently worked on sketches and was a additional writer for 66 episodes of Saturday Night Live. I love Saturday Night Live, and I'm gonna sound like a broken record like always, but I love those olden days where it was like George Carlin, Chevy Chase, Eddie Murphy, Adam Sandler, Chris Farley, David Spade, Chris Rock, all those fun names. Nowadays, I don't really catch Saturday Night Live too much because I find it's very, very political, and that's just not humor to me at all. And back on to Fred Wolf's writing career, he also was the writer for Black Sheep, and he also worked on 14 episodes in 1993 of a TV show called The Chevy Chase Show. How do I not know anything about this show? I highly doubt you can probably find it anywhere, but after this episode is done, probably going to do a deep dive to see if we can find all these shows that I've never heard of before, because I'm hoping I can find this show, because I love Chevy Chase. And as always, we would like to discuss the lead leads, or a couple of the actors in the movie. This one is Norm Macdonald. That's why I didn't mention him in the writer segment, because he is one of the featured writers. He's also the lead for this as well. He's Mitch from Dirty Work, of course, from 1998. He's also a mob member in 2001's The Animal with Rob Schneider. He's Frank in 1995's Billy Madison, and he's the voice of Lucky in 1998's Dr. Dolittle, among a bunch of other things. Where just looking at his IMDb, and there's a movie that I'm gonna have to watch with the family. It's from 2012, where he does Fang, the vampire dog from the movie Vampire Dog, which I've never even heard of before, but we're going to add that one to the watch list for sure. He also had his own show from 1999 to 2001 where they did 54 episodes of The Norm Show. And of course, he's a Saturday Night Live contestant as well. I believe one of his more popular ones is when he plays Burt Reynolds in the Jeopardy segment. The next person we're going to talk about in the cast is Artie Lang, who's done 42 episodes with various characters from Mad TV. I was never a big Mad TV fan. I was always SNL or Second City TV. He was also in one episode of Howard Stern On Demand, which I've never even heard of, where he was a writer. He plays Gimbel's Santa in the 2003 Elf movie. He is, of course, Sam in Dirty Work. He's in 11 episodes of the 2017 to 2019 show Crashing, which I've never heard of before. I know I say that a lot. There's a lot of shows I haven't heard of before. It happens. There's a lot of shows out there nowadays. He's also apparently in Beer League from 2006, which I don't have any efforts to watch, but it is what it is. He's also Al Jones' voice in Leisure Suit Larry, the box office bust from 2009. It's a video game. It's a very unique video game, and if there's any kids listening, I'm sorry. But this video game, I have never played it, but I've seen multiple clips of it. It's essentially you're playing Leisure Suit Larry, and your whole purpose of the game is to try and get laid. Not laid down, get some actual fun time action. And like there's mini games where you play Seaman, and you gotta try and get to the finish line. I don't know who thought about the concept. It's weird, it's stupid, it's wacky, but it's a video game, just so you guys know. And from what I've seen, it's not just one game, there's like 5 games, so it's made enough money to make multiple games just because of how stupid it is, but whatever. This cast, there's a whole bunch of cast members in there. There's Jack Warden, who's playing Pop, we have Christopher McDonald, we have Chevy Chase, we have Don Rickles. It's just a fun cast of people. I'm not going to talk of all of them just because then the intro will be way too long, so we're just going to end it there. We're getting to the facts of the movie, the little details. This movie has a 6.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 24% on Metacritic. 68% of Google users enjoyed this film. Initial release date was June 12th, 1998. Alright, June 12th. I can get down with that day. It's my birthday, just so you guys know. You can get your birthday gifts ready now ahead of time, just so you're aware. Just so you're aware. And this movie had a budget of $13 million and sadly a box office of $10 million, and that's why we don't really hear too much of it at all. The tagline for this movie is "Revenge is a dish best served dirty." Some trivia apparently. This was Chris Farley's last film. He was one of the good ones, and sadly just went down the wrong road, and it is what it is, sadly. So enough of the depressing road of things. This is going to be your last warning. If you don't want to be spoiled on a movie that came out in 1998, feel free to pause this episode now. Go watch it on Tubi, or just sit back, relax, get a snack. If you're at work, hopefully this will help you get through your day at work. And just enjoy the podcast. Hopefully I'll either describe this movie really well that you'll want to go see it for yourself, or I'll just, I'll fill that need and that void, and you won't have to watch it. I don't know. It depends on how you look at it, I guess. Glass half full kind of guy. So this is your last warning. We're going to get started on the episode right now.
Presents Saturday Night at the Movies, the television series which each week brings you the finest in recent motion pictures. Tonight,
meet Mitch Weaver.
Hey, that's my shirt.
In the game of life, he's losing his shirt.
Ah! You're not fit to wear this shirt.
Mitch can't hold a job.
You're fired.
You get a horse and live in the mountains someplace and don't bother anybody. Got a personality like a dead moth.
Mitch is no good at relationships.
I'm through wasting my life with you.
Note to self, making love to blow-up dolls, not as good as advertised.
Mitch lacks people skills.
Hey, that was really funny, sicking the cops on us like that.
I thought it was funny, but I'm surprised you guys did because you got your asses kicked.
My
guess I showed you the thing or two about dirty work.
But there is one thing Mitch Weaver is good at.
You are the king of revenge.
We should open a revenge for hire business.
I think you boys can help me.
Okay, settle down, prostitutes. You each get $20, and this requires no sex.
Whoa, you got a dead hooker in the trunk.
No, it can't be.
I've never seen so many dead hookers in all my life.
Lord knows I have.
Don't shoot this! This is not part of the commercial!
Is some jerk making your life miserable? You want revenge? Let us do your dirty work.
Yeah!
Norm Macdonald of Saturday Night Live.
Hey, I think he's got his thumb up that dog's.
Chevy Chase.
What happened to your foot?
When you owe a bookie a lot of money, and you say blows off one of your toes, you still owe the money. Doesn't seem fair to me.
For anyone too weak to fight back.
We're in prison. You know what prisoners do to each other all the time?
All right, let's go.
You sure you don't want him to?
For anyone who's ever landed on the bottom, your time has come.
You didn't count on my loyal army of prostitutes, did you?
Are you ready for some crazy rough sex?
When I say let's go, you go.
Time you shut your cake hole, Yoko!
Hey, movie line.
How's that looking, baby? He was supposed to keep driving.
Dirty work.
You got that classic MGM Grand lion roar, and then the movie slowly starts coming out with the intro credits, and then we see this central elementary school setting, and the title font, Dirty Work, just comes up pretty basic, and then we see this little kid writing on a pen pad, and a bigger kid comes up behind him, is like, hand over the milk bunny, Weezer. And I'm assuming that would have been Chris Farley's character when he grows up. And then we see Mitch, the kid version, getting tossed into a dumpster. He's like, that's me, Mitch Weaver. And then we see Mitch as a kid down by the dock as he's watching his dad box, and he's like, I didn't like my dad, but he sure was right about, not taking shit from bullies. And we see Mitch, and I'm assuming Sam, in school, planting guns into the bully's desk because of one of those old school desks where the top comes up. And then Mitch mentions that there was a crossing guard at the school. They used to go around grabbing kids' asses. I believe he puts like super glue on his ass because then the crossing guard's hand gets stuck to the ass. He's like, hey guys, look, crossing guard touching an 8-year-old's ass over here. Come help me, rescue me, please. And then when he was 16, we find out that his mom passed away. He's like, I wasn't really good at expressing those, what were you call those things? Emotions, I guess? Then they go to prank a meter maid, and they pop her hood on her car. They put corn kernels all on the, top of the engine, but then we see the corn kernels coming out the exhaust, and then out of nowhere, the fenders all fall off the car, because now there's popcorn all over the place. And we see, a present-day grown-up version of Mitch. He's like, alright, I can make it to the job. Oh, no, there's an accident here. I need to deliver my Aldo's pizza, though. 30 minutes or less, or it's free. 30 minutes or more is free. He starts running with the pizza to the delivery spot. He's like, 30 minutes or it's free, huh? You took 32 minutes. He's like, oh, come on, give me a break, man. There's a car accident. He's like, every pizza that's free comes out of my paycheck. He's like, sucks for you. So then Mitch goes back and talks to Aldo. And he's like, the guy refused to give me the money. He told me, he was calling you names and stuff, and that you're greasy, and you should probably go get the money yourself. It shouldn't come out of my wallet, though. The owner at Aldo's knows that Mitch is lying, though, because he's like, you're not fit to wear the shirt, so he rips the shirt off him. And the next thing we know, we just see Mitch getting thrown out of the pizza spot and landing face first on the sidewalk. And we see Mitch heading back to his apartment, and he's parking his car. He's walking down the alleyway towards his apartment. He's like watching all these other people that have various clothes on, tops on. And he's like, hey, wait, that's my Canadian jersey. And then he looks up, and his girlfriend is throwing all his clothes out onto the sidewalk. Apparently, she already knows that he lost his job, and it's his 14th job in the last 3 months. She's just like, I'm done wasting my time with you. And he's like, fine, okay. What about the rest of my stuff? She's like, I paid for everything. He's like, wait a minute, I paid for the popcorn machine. And then the popcorn machine comes flying out of the apartment. Then Mitch sees a random guy walking down the sidewalk. He's like, hey, that's my shirt. That's my shirt. So the guy takes his shirt off, and it scares Mitch because he looks like a grizzly bear underneath the shirt. He's like, no, actually, I was talking about the person down the other side of the street, not you. So we come to find out Pops, the boxing guy, is actually Sam's dad and not Mitch's dad. My bad. Sorry. Must have misunderstood that at the beginning. Anyways, Mitch is asking Sam. He's like, hey, can I stay with you and your dad? Because I got nowhere to stay. So then Sam goes in and talks to his dad. He's like, hey, how's it going, Pops? Pop's like, I'd be good. It'd be a lot better if you brought me a whore, though. Then Sam has to leave for a little bit. And Mitch is like, you know what? You know how I feel about your dad. Your dad's kind of creepy, to be honest with you. And I don't want to stay here by myself. But I guess if I have to, I'll sit down and talk to him. And So then Pops knows that Mitch thinks he's a creepy old man. So then Pops tries to put Mitch in a chokehold of some sort. So then Sam runs back in to save Mitch before he gets, choked out by a creepy old man. Then we see Mitch and Sam in the bar together, and Mitch is being depressed. He's like, how we're kids and nothing fazed me. Now I'm 30, can't hold a job. I go out with girls I don't even care for. And he's like, well, at least I didn't get the end of my nose bit off. And then we see Chris Farley's character, Jimmy. He's like, you bastard, as he's missing the tip of his nose altogether. Then we see Kathy coming up and sitting beside Mitch as they're watching TV together. He's like, that Travis Cole, he's got the kind of life. He's rich, doesn't take shit from people. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, there's two types of people in this world. People that get stomped on and the ones that do the stomping. She's like, how'd you come up with that? She's like, that famous person said it. Jesus. Yeah, Jesus said it. So we see Sam hitting on this girl at the end of the bar, but then this other guy comes in to hit on her. That's fighting words for Sam. So then he's calling over Mitch, and Mitch is like, alright, ready for a fight. Can I be on their side though? Just asking. And then we see Mitch getting thrown through the bar window, but we also see Jimmy, Chris Farley's character, psyching himself up, and he puts the wrong music on the jukebox, but he doesn't care. He's still getting in the mood. And then once Mitch goes through that bar window, he's sitting down on the ground, face down on the ground. He pulls out like a recorder. He's like, learn to fight. That's definitely something I need to do. And then we see Mitch and Sam in police outfits that they've rented, and they're following the frat people home. He's like, I can't wait to kick their ass. He's like, yeah, they're probably real tired after kicking our ass, huh? Then Mitch calls in the frat place to say, hey, yeah, don't be fooled by these cops that are coming. They're actually frat boys with fake cop outfits, and they just robbed a frat down the way. And the frat guy's like, thanks for the heads up, man. And then after Mitch hangs up the phone with him, he calls the real cops. So then the frat boys start beating up the two cops that show up, and then out of nowhere we see like 15 cops just taking billy clubs and everything and just beating the crap out of the frat boys. We see Mitch go to knock one of the frat boys out that's handcuffed, and he punches the guy in the face, and then he's holding his hand. He's like, I'll take the next guy, actually, to be honest with you. Then we see Mitch and Sam sitting at home with Pops, as Pops watching some girls doing aerobics, and they're talking too much, so Pops tells him to quiet down because he's trying to watch them. So then Sam goes to get another beer, and Pop's like, hey Mitch, can you come over? He's like, nope, not falling for that one again. And then Pop's like, no, I think I'm having a heart attack. He's like, no, I've heard that one before. And then we know Pops is actually having a heart attack, because the next thing we know, we see him in the hospital. So then we see Sam leave. He's going to get something in the hospital, and then Pops wakes up. He's like, Mitch, I'm glad you're here. He's like, I'm going to go get Sam. He's like, no, sit down now. He's like, I'm a little ashamed to admit this, but you're a 100-year-old man. You had a heart attack, and I'm scared shitless of you. So that's when Pops breaks news to Mitch that apparently Pops is Mitch's father. And Mitch doesn't want to believe him at all, because Mitch is like, you're just loopy from all the meds and stuff and what just happened. He's like, no, look at this necklace, and open it up and see the picture inside. And it's a picture of Pops and Mitch's mom getting it on. And Mitch starts freaking out. He's like, well, I figure you wouldn't believe me unless I showed you the picture and just had the proof there for you. Then Dr. Farthing comes in, and he's like, are you the son? And Mitch is like, I gotta go find Sam, but the doctor is actually played by Chevy Chase, of all people. Then we see Sam and Mitch sitting down in the doctor's office, and Chevy Chase is like, so, are you a betting man by chance at all? Because the odds are that your father's probably going to die, just so you're aware. So then Sam's like, so can you at least tell me what's wrong with my dad? He's like, well, he needs a heart transplant, and because of his age, he's really low on the list for getting a heart transplant, so just so you're aware. Sam gets all annoyed and pissed off at Chevy Chase's character, because Chevy tries to sell him a bed. He's like, I can sell it to you for $650. You're playing hardball because you don't want a bed. Okay, well, how about $500 then? And then Sam gets pissed off and leaves, and then as Norm or Mitch is getting ready to leave, he's like, no, come sit back down. I can actually help his father. Just come on, you guys sit down and listen to me. I'll help, don't worry. That's when Chevy Chase's character is like, so there is a way I can get Pops bumped up on the list a little bit, but it's gonna cost you $50,000, just so you're aware. And Mitch is like, $50,000? So come on, you gotta keep it down. You can't be yelling at. Then we also find out that they only have 2 weeks to get the $50,000. Apparently the sister is going to give Sam $2,000. Like, well, where am I going to get the rest of the money then? How am I going to get the rest of the money? As they're standing on the roof of this building, having like this, heartfelt moment. And we kind of find out the whole time Sam guy's been pissing off the roof onto someone's head. And the guy comes up on the roof, and he's just soaked. And Mitch is like, wow, that was some kind of piss. I'm like, well, why would the guy just stand there the whole time? Then we see Mitch driving his car, and Sam sitting in the passenger seat. And then Sam decides to start mooning some people. And that's when Mitch actually parks the car and gets out of the car. And Sam's like, what, oh? And then he's getting out of the car and pulling up his pants. He's like, hey, sorry about that, guys. He was supposed to keep driving. And then we see Sam and Mitch both starting on this construction job. And Mitch is like, 90 degrees, that's going to be the problem. The guy's like, what's the problem? It's like, we lied about our resumes. We know nothing about construction. And then Sam's like, when's lunch? And the guy's like, you guys are fired. Go away. Then the next job they go to is where they're testing some food or some snacks to see if they have allergic reaction. And Sam's like, I feel like I got a little itch, but it's nothing. Then we look over at Mitch, and Mitch is all red and blotchy, and he's sweating. And then he looks over at Sam, and it turns out to be, I think it's Gary Coleman. And then the whole car is on fire. And then we see Adam Sandler's character pop up, and he's popped up as Satan. And then we see them starting at a theater where Don Rickles is playing Hamilton, the manager of the theater. He's like, we got a bunch of fancy people coming, so I'm gonna explain this once for the new guys. You guys don't fuck this up for me. Hamilton is making fun of Sam. He's calling him fat ass and making fun of his love for ice cream apparently. And Norm's laughing about it. So then he's like, why don't you go live up in the woods with a horse and get the hell out of here. And then he mentions to everyone, he's like, if anyone screws this up for me, you're fired. It doesn't matter how long you've been working here. Anyone who messes this night up for me, fired. And for some reason or somehow, Mitch and Sam are the ones in charge of putting the film reel on, and they put on Men in Black, and then it's captioned, who like to have sex with each other. So it's a porno of some sort. And then we just see everyone watching the film in shock, and we hear a narration be like, oh wow, this alien looks hot, we better do stuff with it. Then we see everyone rushing out of the theater and running over Hamilton, and one of the big waves is like, Hamilton, you're fired. And then we see a bunch of the employees giving money to Mitch and Sam, because apparently they said, I'll give you $10 if you screw over Hamilton, I'll give $20. And that's when Mitch is like, you know what, this is what we need to do, Sam, to get money. We need to do revenge stuff. This will be our dirty work. Then we see Mitch and Sam renting out this new business storefront, or maybe apartment, I'm not really too sure. Anyways, the landlord's like, if you're late on the rent, I'm gonna punch you in the stomach. And that's when Mitch is like, that's Sam's apartment. And Sam walks by, he's like, yeah, that's my department. What are we talking about though? And then Mitch sees Kathy walking down the sidewalk, and he's like, Mildred. She looks over confused. She's like, oh, you must have forgot my name. He's like, no, you never told me your name, I just guessed it. And then we see Kathy walking back to work, and Mitch is like, where do you work? You're a dirty car salesman? He's like, no, I'm a dirty accountant, actually, to be honest with you. Mitch knows from Kathy that the car company is going to be doing a commercial today, and for whatever reason he gets the idea. He's like, okay, I'm going to get a bunch of prostitutes, I'm going to pay you $20 a piece, and we're going to crash this commercial. And Sam's not too happy because they spent all the money that his sister spent on the office, and now they got to also pay the prostitutes as well. And then Mitch walks over to, get into the commercial. He's like, how's the trunk work on that car there, bud? And then he pops the trunk open, and there's a prostitute inside the trunk pretending to be a dead hooker. And then all the trunks are also loaded with prostitutes in them pretending to be dead hookers. We just see Mitch walking through the commercial being like, wow, look, there's so many dead hookers. I haven't seen so many dead hookers in one spot in my life. Then we cut to the bar where we see Chris Farley's character Jimmy watching the TV, and the bartender's like, hey, look, Mitch is on TV. And that's when Jimmy gets really pissed off, because apparently the girl that's in the trunk of that car is the one that bit his nose off. So he freaks out and runs to the car dealership. And this whole time the commercial's still been live, and they never cut it. They never try to get Mitch off the camera or anything. And then we see Jimmy pushing the car and waking up the prostitute inside. He's like, time to pay, nose biter. Then we see Mitch and Sam at the hospital, and Mitch is like, Dr. Farthing, what happened to your arm? He's like, it's in this cast. He's like, it's either from sleeping on it wrong or from bookmakers throwing me a moving car. Did you guys get that money by chance yet, or no? Is that money coming? Then we see Sam and Mitch in their little office. He's like, you know what, Mitch, I really appreciate you, helping out Pop so much. It means a lot to me. And Mitch is like, Sam, your father isn't just your father. He's a great man. He's a great man. And an upset Kathy comes in. She's like, Mitch, do you really think that stunt you pulled at the car lot was going to help me a lot? Then Sam's like, this idiot was trying to show you that he likes you. You know what? I'm going to go stand over there in that corner, to be honest with you. And that's when we then find out Kathy's boss had to sell the whole car lot. Now she's out of a job. And then this short guy comes in because he wants some business done. He's like, wow, Mitch, you're famous for being an asshole. That's good. We come to find out the short guy is a dwarf, and he actually works at the carnival, and he wants them to help him deal with this girl who's very rude to him at the carnival, who's actually the bearded lady. And he's talking to Mitch and Sam, and she comes out of nowhere, and she's like, just move over, dwarf, and just throws him to the ground. And then the bearded lady's hitting on Mitch, and she's like, I'll be in my trailer if you want it. And then Sam's like, does that go for me too? What about me? So then Sam and Mitch agree to help the dwarf guy. And then next thing we know, we see the bearded lady waking up in her trailer, and then she's feeling her face, and her beard is completely gone. So she runs out of the trailer screaming, as we see the little dwarf guy standing on someone else's shoulder as he's spray painting the beard section off of the sign. You see this one guy hiring them because he doesn't like their neighbor, because the neighbor kind of, or the house is an eyesore, or the neighbors are eyesore, one of the two. Anyways, they take a giant box of dead fish and are now breaking into this person's house and now hiding all the dead fish all over the place, to the point where they even put one inside the VHS player. Then as they're stashing the fish around the place, the owners of the home start to come home, so then they have to hide the place. We come to find out the owners are drug dealers, because the one guy opens up the briefcase like, you want? And it's just cocaine all over the place. And then the guy that's doing the deal, he's like, something smells fishy around here. He's like, what? Is that code sign for something? And then we just see a gun shootout happening as Mitch and Sam are holding fish in the other room, being like, this is funny. And then it's like, oh, this isn't funny, people are dying. And we just hear people screaming, gunshots going all over the place, and then out of nowhere we just hear a chainsaw starting up and someone screaming that they're being chopped up with the chainsaw. And the whole time Mitch and Sam are just standing there holding their dead fish, not making a single move at all. And then we hear like a grenade go off, and then Mitch drops his fish, and he slowly opens the door, and he's like, oh my god, we need to get out of here. And then we see Sam still hiding some fish. He's like, no, stupid, let's go, we gotta go. And then the neighbor comes in all pissed off. He's like, I'm tired of the noise all over here all the time, guys. And then he's looking around, he's like, I didn't tell you guys to kill them all. He's like, we didn't do this at all. And then we see this old lady calling them, and she's having them come over because apparently Travis Cole wants to pretty much bulldoze this whole neighborhood. That way his friends don't have to park their Mercedes and whatnot on the street, because it's for the new opera house that they're making. Of course, Mitch and Sam take the job, and then next thing we know, we see the bulldozer slowly moving towards the house, even though the house isn't evacuated. And then we see popcorn coming out of the bulldozer engine, and the whole bulldozer blowing up. And next thing we know, we see Sam and Mitch being put into a jail cell with a bunch of other inmates. This is like the holding area, and Sam's like, how are we gonna get out? We don't have bail money, we don't have anything. It's like, how are we gonna get out? And Mitch is like, well, I'm more worried about staying alive and not dropping the soap, to be honest. Then we see Travis Cole and his group of lackeys, watching the TV, and the news reporter is wondering if what Sam and Mitch did was a crime, or if it was like the community standing up to the acts of Travis. And Travis is like, I'm not very happy that the way that this is making me look at all. Then we cut to Mitch and Sam back in the holding cell. He's like, I'm about ready to go talk to the warden. You know what hurts the most? It's the lack of respect that you guys are showing me. It was, the other thing actually hurts the most, but this mentally hurts the most. Actually, the other thing mentally hurts the most a lot too. And then we see a guard come and pull them out of the cell. He's like, yeah, you guys are lucky. And then apparently we see Travis Cole trying to save his, face and make him look like the hero of the community, being like, I'm pulling these guys out of jail, and we're all going to go have popcorn, going to give him some work, and we're all good, all on good terms here. So then we see Travis back in his office with Mitch and Sam, and he wants them to work for him because he believes he has a job for them where they can help him get some people out of this apartment complex, because apparently the judge and everything says as long as people are paying the rent and everything's up to par, he can't actually evict them and demolish the building at all. And then of course Sam and Mitch are like, you know what, we'll do the job, but it's going to cost you $50,000. Mitch is all excited about and happy about because he, this is going to be enough money for Pop's heart surgery. And then Sam's kind of like, I'm not really too sure about this idea, to be honest with you. So then Sam and Mitch go to see Pops and like, good news. And he's like, all right, bring on the whore. And he's like, no, we didn't actually bring you a whore in the hospital, Pops. We actually are getting you the $50,000 for your heart surgery. And then Sam gets pulled away by Chevy Chase's character to discuss some things. And that's when Pops goes to show Mitch the full album, and Mitch ducks to the ground. He's like, what are you so scared about? It's just a full album. I just wanted to show you some pictures. He's like, I don't know, maybe it's your random cases of assault all over the years. Maybe I'm a little bit terrified. Then we see Sam talking to Chevy Chase. He's like, "Hey Doc, what happened to your foot?" He's like, don't worry about it, just maybe moving card. It's no big deal. And we find out that Chevy Chase's character only has 4 more days to live because the broker guy's going to kill him if he doesn't give him his money in 4 days. Then Kathy stops by as Mitch is in his office, thinking of a plan as he's looking over the blueprints, I'm assuming for the apartment complex. And she's like, I guess you can use your powers for good. I'm walking to my grandma's if you want to walk me there. And then he gets there and he finds out that Kathy's grandma lives in the apartment complex that he's trying to get everyone evicted of. And he's like, "Hey, is that prostitutes going in that building? That doesn't look like a good building." And she's like, no, there's just people that my grandma works with. She has her own little business that she rents out of her apartment. And then we see Sam and Mitch working together as they're grabbing a bag of something or whatnot. I'm not even sure what the hell it is. It's a big orange bag. He's like, "So you're mean to tell me that Kathy's grandma runs a whorehouse out of that apartment that we're trying to get destroyed?" It's like, yeah, something like that. And then Mitch is like, damn, I hate that. I like Kathy and that we have to destroy her grandmother's apartment. But you know what? We just gotta do it. We just gotta go destroy it. And then we see them putting a giant tarp over the building because they gave out notices saying that it's gonna be tented and fumigated for termites. And we just see them wrecking the whole place, breaking down doors, taking sledgehammers to walls, putting dead fish behind the walls, and putting cockroaches all over the place and setting doors on fire. And we just see Sam bull rushing into doorways, breaking the doors. Sam puts a firecracker in the toilet and then goes to flush it, but nothing happens. So then he slowly walks backward to the toilet, being like, wonder what happened. The next thing we know, we see him sitting on the toilet reading the newspaper, and then the firecracker goes off in the toilet. We just see toilet water splashing all over the place, and he's like, "Yep, sure knew." Then we see the tarp coming off of that apartment building, and they spray painted a skull and crossbones on the other side of it, and then this place sucks on the side of the whole building. Then we see a news reporter talking about the building, and we find out that it's not even Travis Cole's building. It's Patrick that owns the building, the same people that they're renting the office from. And they're like, "I'm a little bit confused as to what's going on here now." Then Travis comes on to the news report, and he's like, "Sadly, the building's too far gone on this land, so we're just gonna have to demolish it. And, sadly, these people are going to be homeless, but it is what it is, and we're just going to have to try and work something out to make them not homeless, I guess." Then we see Sam and Mitch rushing into Cole's building to try and talk to Cole to get their money, and because they want to kick Cole's ass. And then we see the whole security team coming and be like, "So, yeah, that's not going to happen." And then we see Sam getting pushed out of the building, but then we see Mitch flying out of the building, pretty much like the Jazz from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when Uncle Phil's throwing him out. We see Mitch and Sam seeing 3 homeless guys, and they're like, "Okay, so we'll give you $1 if you guys run through this building acting crazy." And the homeless guys are like, I think you kind of need like a lunatic kind of homeless people. We're more of the broken, soulless, depressed type. And Mitch is like, "How about $2 then instead of $1?" And then we see the homeless guys just running through the building, screaming and causing havoc. So then Mitch and Sam go up the elevator to Cole's office. He's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing here?" "We want our money." And Cole's like, What money are you talking about? I don't owe you any money." And there was a whole plan that Cole had. He's like, "After you destroyed my bulldozer from being able to demolish that old lady's apartment, I wasn't going to let you get away with it." And then we see Mitch getting thrown out of the building again, and then Sam just walking out because apparently he's too heavy to throw. Then we see Kathy getting very upset with Mitch. She's like, "You stood outside my grandmother's home the day before you destroyed the place. Did you really think my grandmother was a drug dealer?" He's like, "No, I thought she was a whore." And he's like, "Oh, yeah." And she's like, "And you didn't get paid for the damn job? That's all you care about is money." And Kathy is very upset with him. And he's like, "Come on, you just gotta listen to what's going on." She's like, "No, just have a good life." And she walks away from him. Then we see depressed Mitch and Sam going in to see Pops. Sam is like, "You know what? I'm sorry, Pops. Surefire idea over here was wrong, and we didn't get the money." And Mitch is depressed, and Sam's like, "You know what? You could just walk away from this. It's no big deal. But this is my Pops. This is my only Pops." And that's when Mitch is like, "You know what? I gotta tell him." And then Pops like, "No, I'll tell him." And then Pops tells him, but Sam doesn't believe him at all. So then Pops gives Sam the necklace to look at, and he's like, "Wait, you cheated on Mom?" She's like, No, I didn't cheat on Mom. She was there taking the picture." So now Sam's realizing that they're brothers, and he's pissed off because he feels like Mitch has been lying to him the whole time. He's like, "I want to tell you, just Pops didn't let me. You know how tight he could squeeze balls? I was scared." We see Mitch carrying his popcorn maker to the office, and there's a sign on it saying, "I owe you a punch from Patrick." And then we see the door door's all locked up. And then the frat boys show up. He's like, that was really funny, you calling the cops on us. And he's like, yeah, it was kind of funny, wasn't it? And then we see Mitch getting thrown into a dumpster just like old times. We see Mitch in the bar talking to Jimmy. He's like, so can I stay at your place? Because I got nowhere to stay. Jimmy starts going, he's like, well, I live over the Y. My roommate's kind of weird. He just has knee drain. He kind of watches me while I'm sleeping. And his feet bleed too. And Mitch is like, I don't need to stay with you. I'm good. I'll sleep in my car. So then we see him sleeping in his car. And the car's got boot on it. And then someone breaks the window and starts to hotwire the car, and then Mitch just pops up in the back seat. He's like, hey buddy, I'm trying to sleep back here, can you keep the noise down please? So then we find out Mitch is waking up that morning. He realizes he left his recorder on the whole time that he was talking to Cole, and they now have proof that Cole was lying to them about owning the building and getting his way. So then we see Mitch going to Sam. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm trying to break down this gate to get my money back, the money that Cole owes me. He's like, the recorder was recording the whole time. I have a plan to get the money and to save the apartment building. You just gotta trust me. Then we have this awkward bonding moment where Mitch and Sam are going on about how, things are changing now because they're actually brothers. They did like a blood brother pact at one point in time. And Mitch is like, hey, you remember in the 5th grade when I was, under the monkey bars and sneaking a peek at your sister's underwear? I was actually sneaking a picture of my sister's underwear. And then Sam brings up, he's like, what about in the 12th grade when you slept with her? And then it's just an awkward time. It's like, oh, yeah. Then we see Mitch and Sam go into this meeting where all the people in the building are together. He's like, you know what? I know I did a lot of bad things. I wrecked the place. I've been in jail. I've made a lot of you guys upset, but I actually have a plan to get the apartment building back up to its normal way, and so you guys aren't homeless. And he's trying to cheer everyone on, being like, hey, are you guys all with me? And nobody says a damn word about anything. He's like, alright, how about this? How about if you guys are all with me and I screw up, you guys get to kick my ass? And everyone's like, yeah, let's do it. Then we see Sam and Mitch sneaking in the test cookies or whatever they had to use that really messed up Mitch the one time. And then we see a bunch of people from the opera show trying the cookies, and they're like, oh wow, this tastes really good. And then we see the next shot is Mitch and Sam going into that changing room where we just see all the people from the opera just shaking, sweaty, and itching all over the place. And then out of nowhere there's like a boxing match between Gary Coleman and this big guy, and Coleman gets his face smashed in. We see Travis Cole is having a little interview outside the reopening of the opera house. He's like, I'm very excited about this, the reopening of my opera house. As well, all the proceeds are going to go help the homeless. Of course they will. Probably not though. Then inside the opera house we see Jimmy, Chris Farley's character, with a cage with 2 skunks inside of it, getting ready to let them through the opera house. And then out of nowhere, the person who comes to announce to the crowd and welcome them to the opera house and to, tell them what's going to happen is freaking John Goodman out of nowhere. Then out of nowhere, the curtain goes up and the opera starts, and you have this lady doing some opera singing, and then out of nowhere, Pops walks out in his hospital gown trying to cop a feel on her. Then Cole tries to leave his top balcony spot. He moves the curtain, and then on the other side is Mitch. He's like, hi, how's it going there, screwball? And he's like, you're gonna be out here in a minute, doesn't matter about it. And then he goes to walk away. He's like, you didn't expect me to have an army of prostitutes here that are snarling at you. He's like, fine, what do you want? And we have Jimmy, Farley's character, yelling and screaming at the songs, telling them to sing their song. There's actually 3 of them in the cage, not 2 of them. And then Sam pops out for the curtain. He's like, Jimmy, release the skunks. He's like, I got it. Then we see these really poorly CGI skunks running through the opera house into the crowd. And then everyone's just, running away, screaming because nobody wants to be sprayed by a skunk, rightfully so. And then Mitch pulls up the recorder and has Cole listen to the recording. He's like, okay, fine, what do you want? He's like, well, I want the $50,000 that you owe me, and I want it written out to Dr. Farthing. And then Kilpatrick's gonna come over here and punch you in the stomach, and then you're gonna sign this contract and give back the apartment complex to Kilpatrick. And then out of nowhere, Mitch's like, hey, Farthing, here's your check for $50,000, and get everything settled. He's like, so what if I don't go to my bookie though and spend this money somewhere else, maybe do some other gambling? He's like, no, you're gonna go there now and you're gonna go save Pops. And Cole takes the recorder from Mitch and takes the tape out and starts wrecking the tape. He's like, oh no, that's a shame. Too bad I got one on the PA system though, so we'll be fine. And then Cole gets all pissed off and spears Mitch off the balcony area, and they both land on top of the opera lady, and he's like, hey, you okay, lady? He's like, yes, just keep the creepy old man away from me, though, please. And then we see Cole getting handcuffed and dragged away by the police, and he's trying to talk to Jacob, and Jacob's hallucinating because he's hits one of the brownies, and he's itchy all over the place. He's like, Jacob, you need to put a stop payment on that check, guys. And then when we see from Jacob's perspective, he just sees a girl in a lingerie being like, you want some hot sex? And he's like, yeah, of course. And then it's like the next day, and Jimmy pulls up in a nice yellow Firebird, and he's showing Mitch the Firebird and his new girl, and it's Young, the lady who bit off his nose. He's like, yeah, we're gonna go get hitched now. And she's yapping at him, come on, Jimmy, let's go, we gotta go. He's like, yeah, I'm talking to my friend. All right, blah blah blah, let's go. And he's like, when I tell you to go, we go. He's like, yeah, blah blah blah. Either way, we can hear them arguing a lot, and then as they're driving away, we hear Jimmy screaming because he's like, you bit my new nose off. We see Pops got his new heart. He's like, I hope the doc can fix everything that's wrong with me. Here's a hint, boys, it rhymes with cock. And everyone just looks on awkward and is like, okay. And then we see Mitch and Kathy driving away. I think it's a GTO convertible, and he's like, Pops got his new heart and everything, and we're just gonna drive off to the sunset now. And then he's like, at the end, Dr. Farthing got over his gambling problem, and the bookies beat him to death, so now he's dead now, so goodbye. Alright, I gotta say, for a first time fully watch, I might have seen it, like clips on it on the TV back in the day. I feel like it might have been a movie that was played occasionally, maybe every now and then on MTV or Much Music, one of those style channels, but I could be wrong. But for a first time watch, this has a lot of good actors in, like a bunch of good scenes and cameos, and the concept is kind of funny. On this one, the Rotten scale of 10, I'm giving it a solid 7.5 out of 10. I definitely enjoyed it a lot, and I definitely would watch it again. I love the scenes with Chris Farley in it. John Goodman at the end was a nice little touch, even though he doesn't really do much or anything. And Artie Lang's good in it as well. Definitely really enjoyable, fun comedy. And that brings us to what we're going to be watching next week. This is going to be another first time watch. I just heard about this movie on a podcast I listened to, The Purple Stuff. They had an episode all dedicated to Frankenstein, so you know where we're going with this one. This one, it's an hour. The copy I found is like an hour and 20 minutes, I believe, but online it says it's an hour and 40, so I'm not really sure what's cut out of it. But it's from 1991. It's a horror comedy, and it's Frankenstein, the college years. I've never even heard of this. This seems, by the premise, seems like it would be like a good back-to-back with like Weird Science or My Science Project. Maybe I'll look into doing Weird Science. I don't know if I did that for the podcast or not, so we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that one, so hopefully you guys will enjoy that and check it out next week. You can find it on YouTube, so I'm not sure if there's a lot cut out of it. Like I said, the online Google search says it's an hour and 40. I'm pretty sure the copy I saw on YouTube was like an hour 22 or something like that, but who knows, we'll see. Still got a couple weeks before that episode actually comes out because of the way I'm recording these, so we'll see how it goes. As always, make sure to check out the outro band, Toronto-based horror band Blood Opera. Their links will be down below. You can find them on Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, pretty much anywhere and everywhere. Check out their new album on Spotify. A bunch of cool dudes, and I think you guys will enjoy their music. And as always, make sure to check out all my links down below as well. Find me on all social media sites at Typhonstein. We're on X, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok. But the main thing that we have that we're pushing the most, like I said earlier in the episode, is the YouTube channel, where we have the weekly game video dropping every Wednesday. We do live streams, we have shorts and old episodes of the podcast as well. So definitely go check that out. Once we hit 1,000 subs over there, we're going to be giving away some free artwork as well. So definitely, that should be a fun time. We're close to 700, I think, now. I haven't really been checking the numbers too much. I just keep seeing them growing.
So I appreciate that. If you guys can share that as well, it means a lot. Until next time, I'll talk to you guys all later. Peace.
I am the whisper in the classroom, the writing on the wall. What's blood for, if not for the shedding?
You used to play that childhood game, didn't you? The one where we chant his name. Was it for real this time, or a dream? Was it